Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Hansen, and I am one of the owners of Simple Surrogacy. We are a full-service surrogacy agency located in Dallas, Texas. And I have heard a few questions today about Texas. I guess the legal panel kind of brought us up and gave you guys some bad information about Texas. So I wanted to start right off with contradicting that information. I guess whoever was on the legal panel has actually never done a surrogacy in Texas, but we've been doing them there for 22 plus years. And I can assure you we do them for married people, for single people, for unmarried people, for straight people, for gay people, for trans people, for every single kind of people we have done a surrogacy in Texas. It is totally legal. We have had laws on the books for longer than gay marriage has been legal nationwide, putting both men right on the birth certificate from the time of birth. There is no step-parent adoption. There is no additional paperwork needed back in your home state. The baby is legally yours via pre-birth order even before baby arrives. So in case you guys got some bad information in the legal panel, I just wanted to go ahead and contradict that. And now I will talk more about our agency. So Simple is a really great agency, I think. Obviously, I'm a little biased because we're really small, but we're really family focused. We do a lot of things that other agencies don't do, just included as our baseline. So another agency might charge you for unlimited rematching, or they might charge you for a guaranteed program. We build all of that in with Simple Surrogacy because our general focus is that you should leave with a baby, right? You're coming into this to have a child. We're going to get you there one way or another. So if you have some bumps in your journey, if you have something happen that's going to make your journey need to have another surrogate, need to have another egg donation, start the whole process over after an unfortunate miscarriage, we are going to stick by your side that whole time so that you don't have to worry about paying additional fees once you come into us with our agency fee. So we're founding members of the GPAP program. We actually told Ron this is a good idea to start this program way a long time ago in New York. And so we're members of the advisory council from the very beginning, members of Gays with Kids, all of the organizations that support LGBTQIA family building. We are founding members of all of those organizations. So you can see a little bit about what we do. We have references available where you can speak to our former intended parents. A lot of agencies won't allow you to speak directly to intended parents, and we do. We really feel like the people who've been through our program and experienced our service and how much we care about people are really our best references. So we encourage you to give them all a call, and a lot of them will become friends with you and guide you through the whole process. 100% of our staff is a surrogate, egg donor, or intended parent through surrogacy, so we've all seen this from the other side and really bring that experience. I was a 3-time egg donor, 2 times to gay couples, and really was the highlight of kind of my life to be able to give that gift to people. So that's why we decided to found this agency and keep being able to give that gift to people. So what makes Simple Surrogacy different? So we are the most successful mid-sized agency with 22 years now. I had to keep updating that, so I just put the little plus sign there so you know it's longer. And we're not a factory approach to surrogacy. I know all of my intended parents by name. I talk to a lot of them on a one-on-one basis, and you have direct access to the owners. To my partner Stephanie and I, you're going to be able to get a hold of us. If anything in your journey needs our intervention, you have 24/7 access to us. We even answer the phone in the middle of the night if something is going on. Unlimited matches included at no additional cost, and we cap our intended parent numbers. And that's one of the other reasons that we're not a factory approach, is we don't ever accept over 90 clients a year. And we just don't want to have too many people that we couldn't ever have that direct contact with people. And so we're based in Dallas, Texas, and as I kind of talked about that a little bit, I'll just gloss over this, but Texas has 3 of the top 10 population cities in the US. It's a very family-friendly state. The average matching times with Simple Surrogacy are 8 to 12 months, which is far faster than any other major agency in the country right now. That is a lot depending upon your preference, but for a single embryo transfer, that's really generally what you're looking at. So when you join our agency, you know you're going to have a match and you know you're going to have a baby in an average of 18 months. We do not have insurance exclusions in most of the states that we work in, unlike California, which has a lot of insurance exclusions and paybacks. You guys probably haven't thought about that a lot yet. But what that means is you could be matched to a surrogate that has health insurance, but she's not able to use that health insurance without paying back the insurance company for everything that's spent on her policy for your insurance. That can add $30,000 to your journey cost without even really thinking about it. So that's something that you don't have to be concerned with when you're matching in Texas, in Oklahoma, in these other central heartland states that are really great for surrogacy. And we're centrally located. It's a really quick 2-hour flight here to get here to Atlanta. Also another quick 2-3 hour flight to get to the other coasts. So really easy to get to Dallas. You don't have to come to Dallas. You don't have to match in Texas, but it is really an easy access point. We also really thoroughly screen our surrogates. We have a 6-point surrogate screening process, which I think is more thorough than most other agencies. So before you even see a profile, she's been through this entire process to make sure she's a good candidate. We do not have a surrogate matched with you that's not already been pre-screened, both on our part and also by a reproductive endocrinologist actually reviewing her medical records. So before you even see her profile, you're going to know that she has been through psychological screening. She has been through several interviews with our staff of previous surrogates and previous intended parents. She's been psychologically evaluated to make sure she's clear. All of her pregnancy records have been reviewed. And we know that she's going to be a great candidate and an excellent surrogate. And on top of that, you'll know what her insurance stance is. So if she's got an insurance policy that's going to cover the surrogacy, or if she needs to have one purchased for her, and then she's going to take a discount off of her compensation. So all of that even happens before the surrogate is sent out for matching. So on average, only 10% of our candidate applicants get through to be matched with you. And so because we're also an all women-owned agency, we really support our surrogates super well. We take really good care of them in terms of gatherings, in terms of sending them out gift packages, bump boxes, really just checking in on them. And so if you are a ways distant from your surrogate, you can just take confidence in the fact that knowing that she's being really well supported by her coordinator, who is a previous surrogate through our journey. I think that's why we have so many return and repeat surrogates, is that we really take the best care of them of any agency, because we are all surrogates and egg donors that are supporting them and coordinating their journeys. So they really feel like they have a friend who's been through the process before, and you can take confidence in the fact that we are also managing their expectations and guiding them so that they have someone to talk to and not burden you with anything that they can come to us with. And so, look, I got some baby pictures. This is my favorite part. So if you've been by our table, you'll see that we had those gorgeous, shirtless men. Don't worry, we don't require that, but those are past intended parents through our program. And all of our pictures that we have are actually people who have sent us their baby photos and their pictures after they've had a baby. So these first ones, this is a couple who went through 2 journeys and had 2 sets of twins. Isn't that fun? I know. And those guys were on our posters. So we're really excited. Look, that's me 10 years younger. Don't I look wrinkle-free? Anyway, so that's a little bit about our agency. Sorry, I'm a little off the cuff here, but it's also a strangely shaped room. But so do you guys have any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer them. Yes?
About the 12 to 18 month time frame, when are you starting the clock on that? What have you done beforehand?
So we start the clock on that when you join our program. Yeah, so even if you don't have embryos yet, if you come in and you have embryos, I think that clock is a little bit shorter. If you come in and you don't have embryos yet, you're kind of going to be in a sort of holding pattern, but you're still moving up that timeline. We're not going to exceed that timeline. But as far as actively sending out your profile to surrogates, we do want to know that you have embryos on the way. And that's both for your financial protection and for the surrogates who are ready to start their journey. Because no surrogate is looking at your profile and going, oh, I don't know when they're going to have embryos, I'm going to pick them. They kind of want to get going right away. And on your financial side, you don't want to be matched to a surrogate and then have something happen embryo-wise. We've had people who need to do another retrieval to get more embryos. You don't want to be matched and paying that surrogate her monthly compensation and have her be on hold. That's not good for anybody. No, so that's how long it's taking to match you to a surrogate, and then the journey starts from that point forward. Yeah, then we would be sending her to screening at the clinic and getting everything established with escrow. Yeah, you got one. Yes, we also offer full service egg donation through our agency. Egg donation is a little trickier. I say choose your surrogacy agency based on their experience and the relationship you're going to have with them, because we're like the wedding planner for your entire surrogacy journey. You got to like us because we're going to be working together a lot. Egg donation, you really have to choose based on the genetics, right? So you really have to dial down what you're looking for in terms of an egg donor. You might find that in our donors. If so, that's great. We offer discounts for people who do both programs. If not, no problem. We'll refer you to donors at the clinic that you're working with. That's a really good place to look for donors also. And we also coordinate with other associate egg donor agencies where we can help you refer to find the right donor. Yeah. Yes?
Hi, I love that you're an all-women establishment. I have a concern about the all Deep South, all Texas, Oklahoma, anti-LGBT states. So how are you reconciling those two? I used to live in Texas until last month, and I know Oklahoma, we just had the non-binary child, who was on live because of anti-LGBT rhetoric, like the governor and other things like that. So how do you reconcile so much anti-LGBTness
I think that's an excellent question. I think people think of Texas in that way without actually having experienced the major cities there. I grew up on the East Coast and I've lived in Connecticut and New York, and I don't find Dallas and the major cities in Texas to be anti-LGBTQ at all. I feel like we're very blue cities. In fact, clients that I signed this week described it as blueberries floating in tomato soup. And I feel like that is also disgusting and a wonderful analogy. Yeah.
As well as Austin, we made a declaration. We are safe, cities.
Exactly.
I love San Antonio too. My family is
Yes.
still there.
Yeah.
Still Texas, and the laws are still anti-LGBT overall. So just want
I don't think they are actually anti-LGBTQ in Texas overall. Yeah, not at all for surrogacy. We were putting 2 men on the birth certificate in Texas before there was a gay right to marriage nationwide. Both men were going on the birth certificate even before then. So it is not anti-LGBTQ in those big cities. I do think you have to be concerned a little bit more in Oklahoma and things like that. There are certain areas of those places that I would be reluctant to match, but that's something we're also asking surrogates, like, who do you want to carry for? And we're very specific, and you're never going to be matched to someone who doesn't want to carry. I will tell you, 99% of our surrogates prefer to carry for gay couples, prefer to carry for them because there's not that whole intended mother dynamic where there could be some competition or stress. We do really find them gravitating towards that. So, yeah, yes. Thank you.
So I have a question. Using an example, I'm in Texas myself, and if I were to use fertility specialists in Texas and Dallas to create the embryos, then what would the process look like to work with some of the surrogates?
That's great. We work with them a lot. They're a really great clinic. So it's really easy if you're close to having your surrogate and your clinic in the same state. That really cuts down on costs because travel obviously is a lot easier. Even if they're far away in Texas, they're going to be able to hop a Southwest flight and get there really fast. So yes, we work with them a lot to coordinate that process. If you have your embryos there, then we're going to find you a surrogate and we'll manage that whole thing. We're sending them to the clinic for screening and then taking care of the whole process, managing it with the clinic for you. Yeah, I saw a hand over here.
Can you also chat about if the surrogate is in a different state in Texas, is the level of care the same? Do you guys
Yes.
have folks outside of Texas?
Yes, we have coordinators across the country, but with now Zoom and telecommuting, everything can be done digitally. But yes, we have surrogates located in every state where surrogacy is legal. And we're actually licensed in New York City, New York State. We're one of the few surrogacy agencies that has a license in New York State, which is the only state that has rigorous licensing for surrogacy agencies. So yes, we have that process down no matter where your surrogate is located. Yeah, yes.
Hi, if a surrogate was located in Texas and then the surrogate had to go through abortions or miscarriages, would there be any legal troubles?
So that's a great question too. We do get that one all the time. So after Roe v. Wade fell, I spent a lot of time talking about the repercussions nationwide for what that means for surrogacy. And the good news is that while these are horrible laws, I won't disagree with you on any of those matters. In fact, as a woman, obviously it impacts me a lot. I don't think it's a concern for surrogacy because surrogacy, there is not a lot of need for termination. It's not something that happens very often at all. In 22 years of doing this, we have only needed 3 terminations from our agency. And every single one of those were detailed terminations where they needed to travel anyways. So they had to go to Colorado and in one case, New York. So that's 3 in 22 years that had complications. So if you are doing PGD tested embryos, you've already screened out all of the congenital disorders, you've screened for Downs, you've screened for anything that's going to cause a termination early, then you're not really at risk of needing a termination. That being said, if you did need one, it is always legal to travel. So that surrogate would just go to another state.
Do you routinely do PGT testing?
Yes, we routinely recommend that. And it's not just for saving money on your part. You don't want to transfer something that's not going to be viable. Don't spend that money to transfer. And then no surrogate wants to really carry something that has a high potential of not implanting because it's a lot of impact on their body. And so if they end up needing, if it takes and there's a miscarriage, that's a lot of stress on their bodies.
I've been told that the act of doing the testing could affect the implantation of the embryos.
We haven't seen that. I think there is some risk to the embryos, but nowadays the PGD testing is really excellent. This is more of a clinical thing for them to really give you if there's any details, but I would say most of our clients, if not all of them, do the PGD testing.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw another hand. Yes.
So if the IPs do not live in Texas, what's the turnaround time from the moment the baby's born until you?
Oh, that's a great question. So generally speaking, most of our clients don't live in Texas. A few of them do, obviously, but You can fly right away, but right away is usually a week following the birth. If you're going internationally, we like to recommend 2 weeks, just because they go back in for a new baby checkup and just make sure everything is good. But honestly, nobody knows this, but it's so much easier to fly with a newborn than it is to fly with even like a 1 month or a 2 month old. So they generally almost always sleep on the plane the whole time. They're like, cuddly little just lumps of new baby. Like, they don't cry a lot at that. I'm like, please go home sooner rather than later. You don't want to hang out until they're like 2 months old, because then you're going to have a crying baby on the plane. But most of our clients just fly right home. Yeah.
So I saw a lot of the pictures with twins. Do you still do
Double embryos, we do. So that's really more clinical based. We do allow that at our agency, and we will coach you on what those risks look like. Just know that you need to have, funds in there to pay for the twins fee, and there's going to be some bed rest, things like that. But we can coach you on that. The thing to be concerned with is a lot of clinics are now not doing that. So really, you need to talk to the clinic and see if they're still allowing double embryo transfers. Most of them are not. There are a few that do. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's great. So we have escrow opened when the surrogate's going to go to screening, just to cover her expenses to screening. And that initial deposit is based on how far she's going. So generally speaking, that initial deposit is going to be $10,000 or less. That's going to cover her expenses for screening, pay her lost wages or her child care while she's going to screening, and then leave enough money in there to pay for her attorneys afterwards. After the legal contracts are completed, that's when you're going to deposit the larger bulk of funds into escrow. So just knowing that surrogates all have legal counsel as well, and that counsel is going to advise them to have their full compensation and expenses in escrow, because every party wants to know that that money is in there and available. So with our agency, we generally recommend, depending on her compensation, between $60,000 and $70,000 be deposited in when you sign the legal contracts with your surrogate. At our agency, from that point forward, at 20 weeks is when you're going to top off with the remaining amount of money that's due. And I will send you an estimate of exactly how much money is going to be needed into escrow once you have a pregnancy. Because then we have a lot more determination on, hey, it's 1 baby, it's 2 babies, it's, we got pregnant the first transfer, oh, we needed 2 transfers. So we can estimate that really tightly. Yeah. Yes? A lot. Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, you'd be looking more at like 6 months-ish of matching time. And again, matching time is really dependent on how much criteria you put on the surrogate. We're really looking for an individual person here. We're not making someone. So we do have to find someone that meets what you're looking for. So the tighter your criteria, the less availability of actual women to fit that. So the more open you can be, the faster you'll match.
Do we have profiles set up so it's kind of a two-way match?
It's a two-way match. Yes. You both fill out profiles with what you're looking for, and then you both select. Yep. Yes?
you have situations where your screening made the surrogacy possible, but then when they went to the fertility clinics, it didn't match, and you had to go through another search for another?
Very, very rarely. So the only time we've ever had a surrogate turned down at the actual medical screening is if there was something developed in her body that happened between the end of her last pregnancy and this one. So don't have x-ray glasses yet. Those are the only things that we can't really predict. So generally speaking, no. We've never had anyone turned down for anything that was in their pregnancy history or anything that was visible physically on them. It's just like if they had a cyst or something that we can't know about, that's the only reason they'd be turned down. I think I'm done. They're kicking me off. So come stop by our table and I'd be happy to talk to you guys some more. Thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure.